Go back and do what you're able to do, and if you do, life will present you with some amazing opportunities. You need to handle the small tasks before you can tackle the bigger ones. It's something to be proud of. All the things you do influence each other. Actually, here's a wise saying: everything has an impact on everything else. It's easy to think, this doesn't matter. But let me tell you, everything does. Sure, some things are more important than others, but nothing is unimportant. And here's the good part: every new habit you develop affects all your other habits. You might say, I used to read a lot, but I stopped. Well, change that. Get back into your routine. If you've fallen out of it, just get back in. That's what discipline is all about. If something isn't working, stop doing it. You might hope things will fix themselves, or wish for luck, but that's not very practical. If your habits aren't helping you, change them. You can't keep going like this. Instead of wishing for better luck, focus on making better choices. Use whatever opportunities come your way to reach your goals. That's the mindset I adopted when I was 25, and it completely changed my life. And you know what? It turned out to be simple. I became a millionaire at 31, and it felt easy. Here's what I mean by easy: it was something I could manage. If it's within your capabilities, it's easy. But let me tell you something, I put in a lot of effort. I made sure I stuck to my routines, I made sure my habits were good, I made sure I did everything I could. I found something I could succeed in, but I worked hard at it. I woke up early, stayed up late, and worked hard from age 25 to 31. But what I did felt easy, meaning it was achievable for me. Now, you might ask, if it was so easy, why didn't everyone around you become rich during those 6 years? Well, here's the thing, it's just as easy not to. That's the truth. It's easy to continue doing things that don't work, it's easy to maintain bad habits, it's easy not to build good habits. So why did I become rich while they didn't? Here's a simple idea: things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. That's the distinction between success and failure, between having dreams and reaching goals. Here's the secret to success: practice a few important habits every day. Make sure these habits are carefully chosen. How should you spend your time? Don't waste it on unimportant things. Instead, focus on a few straightforward habits that can transform your financial future completely. Your future with your family, your business, your career in sales or management, all rely on a few simple habits. Good habits are done every day. Now, here's how failure happens: making the same mistakes every day. Just a few mistakes repeated daily can lead to big problems. In 10 years, you could end up with things you don't like, driving a car you don't like, wearing clothes you don't like, living somewhere you don't like, earning an income you don't like. Making mistakes daily, having bad habits every day, it's a disaster. Now, let me explain why it's easy to keep making the same mistake, because the consequences of failure don't show up right away. Bad habits don't immediately lead to disaster at the end of the first day, week, or month. It's tricky. If failure hit us hard after just a week, we'd change our ways. But it sneaks up on us: small mistakes, bad habits. They nudge us off track bit by bit. You keep drifting, and before you know it, you're in trouble. So, you have a choice: it's either easy to do the right things or easy to ignore them. Let me sum up how I became rich by age 31 in one sentence: I didn't neglect to do the simple things I could do. For 6 years, I kept at it. That's the secret. I discovered something simple that I could do, which led to success, and I made sure not to overlook it. The main reason why many people in America don't have more of what they want, like better health, more money, more influence, is simply because they neglect it. Neglect, if left unchecked, can grow into a bigger problem, like an infection turning into a disease. So if you're used to not doing everything necessary to succeed, start getting into the habit of doing everything it takes. That's the first advantage of positive reinforcement, forming good habits. Now, the second advantage of positive reinforcement is that it gives you the motivation to achieve more. It inspires you to not only keep doing what's right, but to do even more of what's right. When you see that your efforts are paying off, it gives you the energy to keep pushing forward. How simple is it to wake up in the morning when you know you're not doing everything you should? It's not very simple. You might lie there thinking, what harm could a few more minutes in bed do? It won't make much difference anyway. But that's not true. It does matter. It matters right now. How easy is it to wake up in the morning when you're giving it your all, eager to start the day and make progress toward your goals? It's a whole different experience. When you're resting to recharge your energy, it's much different from resting to avoid facing the day. When you're enthusiastic and ready for what the day holds, when you're excited about the things you've planned to achieve, it's incredible, you'll wake up before the alarm even has a chance to ring. Your achievements boost your desire to do more, they give you more energy, and they make it easier to achieve even more. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, one success leads to another, and soon the habits that were hard at first become natural to you. How can you tell if you're successful? Do you need to be a millionaire? No, not at all. All we want is for you to make as much money as you can. If you make $10,000 a year and that's your best, that's okay. Everything else will fall into place. The important thing is to give it your all. Whether you make $10,000 a year or $100,000 a year or even $1 million a year, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you've tried your hardest, earned as much as you could, and become the best version of yourself. And here's why: life is all about growing and doing your best. And here's what's fascinating: humans are the only creatures that sometimes don't give their best effort. They settle for less than they're capable of. Every other living thing tries its hardest. How tall does a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. Trees don't grow halfway. They reach their roots as deep as they can, stretch their branches as high as they can, and produce as many leaves and fruits as possible. Humans also keep growing physically until they reach their full size, but that's something we can't control, it's in our genes. However, we can control the growth of our minds, but sometimes we neglect it. Most living things naturally try to reach their full potential, except humans. So why don't humans strive for their maximum potential? Here's the reason: because we have the freedom to choose. That sets us apart from animals, trees, and birds. This freedom to choose distinguishes us from all other living things. And here's the choice: we can settle for being just a part of what we could be, doing enough to get by, or we can strive to become everything we can be. My best advice to you is to choose the latter option, to go for the maximum. Earn as much as you can, make lots of friends, read many books, learn many skills, see as much as you can, do as much as you can, make as much fortune as you can, and give away as much as you can. Live life to the fullest. I'm telling you, once I started doing this, I never looked back. Take on the challenge, embrace it, choose the easier path to success, to doing your best, to achieving financial freedom. The more effort you put in, the greater the rewards. When you prepare diligently, following all the necessary steps, doing everything within your capacity to stay on course, and when your efforts result in success, in achieving your objectives, you strengthen the habits and routines that brought you there. Success reinforces the right disciplines. If what you're doing is effective, stick with it. If it's not working, make a change. When you're giving your all and consistently meeting your goals, keep at it. Success serves as reinforcement. Psychologists refer to this as positive reinforcement, something we're all familiar with. This is how we train our dogs, how we educate our children, and how trainers at places like SeaWorld get killer whales to perform tricks and obey commands, through positive reinforcement. When you bring home a new puppy and want to teach it not to make a mess in the house, what do? You praise and reward it for going outside or signaling at the door. When you're helping your toddler transition out of diapers, what's the approach? You reward her with treats or gifts, making her feel proud for mastering a new skill. When you want your older kids to hit the books and study, what's the approach? You give them rewards when they achieve good grades, teaching them that the skills they're building today will benefit them greatly in the future, but you give them rewards now. This is positive reinforcement, learning that there are treats for doing something good, something useful, something valuable. The more valuable it is, the bigger the treat. The better you perform, the better the treat. The more valuable it is, the bigger the treat, like a higher salary, a nicer home, financial independence. It's all about rewarding effort. Now, there are two main advantages of positive reinforcement. Number 1, positive reinforcement helps you develop good habits. If what you're doing, the routine you've adopted, is boosting your drive and making you more successful, stick with it. Your success proves that these habits are beneficial. Your success shows you that you should keep doing what you're doing. By revisiting these habits that lead to success, you strengthen them, making them more likely to stick. Now, here's the flip side. By examining your habits, your daily actions, you might discover that some of them are holding back your success. You might realize that what you're doing every day isn't good for you, or you might notice that you've stopped some very beneficial habits. Someone might say, well, I've stopped taking my daily walk around the block. Well, then you might end up being sick down the road.